My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And in order to help you do that today, I went ahead and made a market update for what's going on in the Mat-Su Valley year to date. So this is continues to be a pretty interesting market to watch. We're still seeing kind of some fluctuating around here. So all good stuff right ahead. We'll be looking at the residential, condo, and the multifamily market, and then wrapping it all together in a nice bun for you in a summary at the end of the video. Before we get started though, as always, give this video a like. If you haven't done so already, do subscribe. And without further ado, let's go and look first at what's going on in the residential market. Now in the residential market, the first thing that really stands out to me is the inventory has gone down a little bit from where it was this time last year, but not by a whole lot. There was about 370 homes that were on the market this time last year in the Mat-Su Valley. Now it's about 350. So we see a little bit of a dip, not too much though. Secondly, on the residential side, the thing that really stands out to me is the units that have sold has actually increased very slightly. So even though we have a decrease in the overall inventory, we are seeing an increase in the number of properties that have sold. There was roughly about 200, well not roughly, there was 241 homes that sold this time last year for the most current month that we have all the data for. And this year it's 246. So not a huge swing in either direction there, but it's significant because we have less inventory and we have more properties that have actually sold. The next thing that we need to look at is the average sold price, the reason that I know most of you are tuning in anyway. So average sold price in the Mat-Su Valley has gone up significantly over the past year. The average sold price year to date this time last year, $301,000. Now it's about 347,000. So that's a 15.21% increase. And that's pretty significant, obviously, but I'll save that for the summary. Now we're going to take a look at condos. Obviously, pretty small market, but I said I was going to cover it, so we're going to cover it anyway in the Mat-Su Valley. They're not as popular as what you might find in Anchorage or other big cities in the lower 48. It's really not, that's not the reason people go to the Mat-Su Valley to go live in a condo association. But for those of you who are interested, there were 9 condos on the market this time last year. Now there are 4. The next thing about condos is that the number of properties that actually sold this time last year was 4, and now it's 7. So proportionally, big move there. Finally, what we're seeing is the average sold price for condos has increased by roughly 9%, going from about 171,000 this time last year to about 192,000 this time this year. So that's pretty significant because we are seeing obviously an increase for the average sold price in condos. If you kind of look at the chart, you do see that in past years, the price for condos has increased and decreased over the years. So that mostly has to do with just the size of the market. It's really hard to get a consistent law of averages when you don't have a big pool to be drawing from with all your data. But yes, average sold price is definitely up. Let's take a quick break here. For those of you who are considering selling your home in this market, because you see it can obviously be a really strong time for you to do that, you don't have to do it without any support whatsoever. Even if you're just thinking about doing this and you want to get a feel for what the process looks like, do feel free to reach out to me on my website. Link for that is going to be down below. I have free seller's guide to kind of walk you through the process and what it looks like to get your home ready for the market and for helping you to really position yourself to maximize what you can get for your home. So if you want to help us on our inventory shortage, that's going to be the best way to do it, and be happy to help as best I can with that. Now, without further ado, let's go and jump in and see what's going on in the multifamily market in the Mat-Su Valley. Now in the multifamily market, we're seeing a pretty big decrease in the number of inventory because it went from 33 multifamily properties that were available this time last year. Now it's about 22. So we are seeing roughly a 33% drop in the inventory for multifamily properties. Next, what we're seeing is the number of properties that have actually sold has increased from 10 this time last year to 13 this time this year. So we'll talk about more why that's significant in the summary though. The next thing that's really significant here is the average sold price for multifamily properties in the Mat-Su Valley has increased by about 7.72%, and the average sold price went from about 420,000 to about 453,000. So, pretty sizable swing there. We haven't really seen any dramatic increases in the appreciation like that in recent times here in the recent data. So that's pretty significant. Now let's summarize all of this together. So what we see as far as the residential market goes, yes, inventory remains low, and that's probably going to remain the case for the foreseeable future here, mostly because a lot of sellers are just looking around and going, okay, well, I love the price I can get for my home, but I am just having a hard time getting my mind around having to be on the flip side of that and having to go find a place for myself at that point. I'm just going to keep what I have. That's probably going to remain for the foreseeable future here, and the demand is going to remain high because of the interest rates. What we're seeing in the data is inventory is still lower than what it was before, but it's starting to kind of balance out. We're starting to see these signs of hope at the end of the tunnel, that things are starting to not be as drastic as it was the year before. So that's promising. The condo side, we're obviously seeing the average sold price has been going up there. Inventories is pretty low, but it's such a small pool. It's kind of hard to say exactly what's happening because literally one property can throw the entire thing off. So it's hard to come up with any average takeaways as far as that goes, but average sold price is up for condos. Now in the multifamily market, this is really interesting to me, and the reason is we are seeing that unlike the residential side, where it's starting to come back and starting to show signs that we're roughly about where we were the year before, and we're starting to catch up as far as the inventory goes. No sign of that happening whatsoever on the multifamily market side. And the reason for that, if I can kind of just throw a theory out there, is there are a lot of investors in the Mat-Su Valley, and they actually really like their property out there because their other big option is to go find something in the municipality of Anchorage. And if you're an investor in the municipality of Anchorage, it's not the worst thing ever, but also the assembly and powers that be and just the city government in general does not necessarily make it an easy job to be a landlord. So for that reason, there's really demand to be moving out to the Mat-Su Valley just to have some more freedom and kind of some support for what it is that you're trying to do for the community. So that's what we're seeing as far as the multifamily market goes. Obviously, average sold price is still up, but I kind of have a hard time looking at that and just using that as the barometer and the big standard for how we're doing, just because multifamily property includes everything from the little duplex all the way up to the big commercial 30-plex property. So I sure hope this was useful for you. If you're thinking about making a move up here to Alaska, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I have a free relocation guide I would love to send your way. So if that's something that would benefit you, do reach out to me. I'd be happy to send it to you. Link for that is going to be down below. Just go to the website, and in the little comment section, put in there that you would like to receive the relocation guide, and I'll send that your way. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.